I always thought betrayal would come with a warning. A fight. A change in voice. An unraveling. But when it came, it arrived with a kiss on the cheek, the scent of her favorite perfume, and a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Her name was Madison Claire Reynolds, and I loved her like I didn't know better. It was supposed to be just a regular Thursday night. I had spent the entire day planning something small. Intimate her favorite dinner, a bottle of wine from the Napa trip we took 2 years ago, music low and warm in the background. I just wanted to remind us that even after 9 years, I still noticed, still cared, still chose her. We met in San Diego at a mutual friend's barbecue. She laughed at something I said about the overcooked burgers, and I knew instantly I was done for. She had this casual beauty, the kind that didn't scream for attention, but pulled you in like gravity. She worked in marketing, loved classic movies, hated olives, and had a soft spot for golden retrievers. I still remember how her voice cracked when she said, "I love you," for the first time. How we built our life from IKEA furniture, weekend hikes, and burnt pancakes on Sundays. By 34, we had a mortgage, a dog named Oscar matching coffee mugs, and an unspoken routine that felt like home. So when I got home early that day, I was excited. Chicken roasting. The apartment smelled like rosemary and garlic. I set the table, lit a candle, put on the playlist she made when we first moved in together, a mix of jazz, indie, and one rogue, Taylor Swift's song. She texted at 6:03 p.m., "Running late, long meeting, be home soon, yellow heart." I smiled, poured her wine, and waited. 7:12 p.m. Still no Madison. At 7:43, she walked through the door. Wind-blown cheeks flushed. Not breathless like she'd been rushing, flushed like she'd been somewhere else. With someone else. "Hey, babe," she said, all warmth and sparkle. "Smells amazing." I kissed her cheek. She was warm. Her lipstick was faintly smudged. She talked about her meeting a client that ran late. A new project that stressed her out. But she barely touched her wine. Picked at her food. Laughed too quickly. Checked her phone too often. I tried to ignore it. I tried to smile. I tried to breathe. When she went to take a shower, I stayed behind, washed the dishes, cleaned the counters. Then I noticed her purse still sitting on the stool. I never checked her phone. Not once in 9 years. But something inside me broke protocol. The screen lit up. A message preview from someone named Eric W. Still thinking about earlier. "You taste like cinnamon." My hands went cold. I didn't open it. I didn't need to. She came out of the bathroom, wearing the same pajamas she always wore. Hair wrapped in a towel. Smiled like the woman I married. Crawled into bed beside me like nothing had changed. Except everything had. The days after were a blur of half-lies and silent suspicions she started wearing perfume again. Something she hadn't done in months. She left earlier. Came home later. Laughed more at her phone than at my jokes. I asked her one night, "Are we okay?" She looked at me, her eyes full of confusion. "Of course we are," Why would you ask that I wanted to believe her? But love does indeed convincing. Then came the weekend trip to Seattle, supposedly for a women's branding summit. She booked it last minute. I offered to drive her to the airport. She said she already called an Uber. I watched her suitcase roll out the front door. My gut screamed. 3 hours later, I called the hotel she claimed to be staying at. They had no reservation under her name. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I logged into our shared Amazon account, a leftover habit from our wedding registry. She had used it recently. There it was, one black lace bodysuit, one travel-sized cologne bleu de Chanel, one copy of The Art of Discretion. None of it for me. I tracked her flight, using the itinerary she left on the fridge. Except the return time didn't match the one she texted me that morning. She was lying, and I was staring into the mouth of it. Helpless. I didn't know who Eric W. was or what he meant to her, or how long this had been happening. But I knew one thing: I wasn't crazy. I printed out the text preview, the Amazon receipt. I kept them in a drawer, not to throw in her face, but to prove to myself I hadn't imagined it. She came back Sunday night, smelled like hotel soap. Her voice was hoarse. "I missed you," she said, curling into my chest. I didn't sleep. The next morning I called in sick to work. Then I called a pipe, because if I was going to confront this, I needed the truth. All of it, not just scraps. What I found over the next 7 days shattered everything I thought I knew. Photos, dinner bills, a hotel room booked under her name and his. Wasn't he just having an affair? She had another life, to be continued in part 2.